Frida Kahlo's Mexican Roots, a cultural celebration in art. Frida Kahlo, one of the most celebrated artists of the 20th century, is known not only for her deeply personal and emotional self-portraits, but also for her unwavering celebration of Mexican culture. She is an amazing artist who had a fantastic life. Through her vivid paintings, Kahlo wove together the threads of folklore, tradition, and national identity, creating works that were as much a reflection of herself as they were of her homeland. Her art bridges personal pain and cultural pride, a testament to how deeply her Mexican roots influenced her creative vision. We will explore how Kahlo's heritage shaped her work, examine the folkloric and cultural elements that define her art, and highlight the pieces that vividly showcase her connection to Mexico. The life and Mexican identity of Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo was born on July 6, 1907, in Coyoacán, Mexico, a vibrant district she would later immortalize as the setting for her life and art. She grew up during a time of political and cultural upheaval, as Mexico transitioned out of the Mexican Revolution, 1910 to 1920, into a renewed sense of national identity. The movement sought to reclaim and celebrate Mexico's indigenous heritage and folk traditions, and these ideals deeply resonated with Kahlo. While Kahlo's father, Guillermo, was of German descent, her mother, Matilda Calderón y González, was of mixed Spanish and indigenous ancestry. This dual heritage influenced Kahlo's fascination with Mexico's cultural and historical diversity. She embraced her indigenous roots and often incorporated pre-Columbian mythology, folk art, and traditional clothing into her work and public persona. Kahlo's life was also marked by immense physical pain and emotional turmoil, stemming from a debilitating bus accident at age 18, and her tumultuous marriage to fellow Mexican artist Diego Rivera. Yet, even in her suffering, Kahlo found strength and identity in her Mexican heritage, which became a source of solace and a cornerstone of her artistic expression. Frida Kahlo's celebration of Mexican culture. Frida Kahlo's art is a love letter to Mexico. Her paintings are rich with references to the country's traditions, beliefs, and landscapes, often blending her narrative with cultural symbolism. Here are some ways Kahlo celebrated her roots. 1. Traditional clothing. Kahlo's iconic style included wearing traditional Tijuana dresses, embroidered blouses, and elaborate hairstyles adorned with flowers. The Tijuana style, originating from the matriarchal society of the Isthmus of Tehuantepec in southern Mexico, symbolized female empowerment and cultural pride. Kahlo's adoption of this attire in her life and paintings was a deliberate statement of her connection to her heritage. 2. Folklore and mythology. Kahlo often drew on Mexican folklore and pre-Columbian mythology to create symbolic narratives in her art. She incorporated elements like Aztec gods, the duality of life and death, and references to the Day of the Dead to explore themes of identity, mortality, and resilience. 3. Mexican landscapes and Frida Kahlo's works are abundant with imagery of cacti, tropical plants, and vibrant flowers native to Mexico. These elements emphasize her connection to the natural beauty of her homeland and serve as metaphors for growth, fertility, and endurance. 4. Folk art and symbolism. Frida Kahlo's art borrows heavily from Mexican folk traditions, including ex-votos, small devotional paintings, and retablos, religious iconography. Her use of bright, saturated colors and flat, illustrative styles mimics the aesthetics of folk art, grounding her work in a distinctly Mexican context. The influence of Mexican culture on Frida Kahlo's art. To understand how deeply Mexican culture influenced Kahlo, one must look at some of her most iconic works and their symbolic elements. Below are a few key paintings that reflect her love for her homeland. 1. Self-portrait on the borderline between Mexico and the United States, 1932. This painting contrasts the industrialized landscape of the United States with the vibrant, earthy traditions of Mexico. Standing between the two worlds, Kahlo expresses her disconnection from the modernity of the U.S. and her longing for the cultural richness of her native country. The Mexican side of the painting features indigenous ruins, lush vegetation, and symbols of fertility, highlighting Kahlo's celebration of her roots. 2. The Two Fridas, 1939. This double self-portrait depicts two versions of Kahlo, one wearing a European-style dress and the other wearing traditional Tijuana attire. The painting symbolizes her dual heritage and her struggle with identity, with the Mexican Frida holding a miniature portrait of Diego Rivera, further emphasizing her cultural pride and emotional ties. 3. Roots, 1943. In this surreal piece, Kahlo portrays herself lying on the ground with vines sprouting from her torso, intertwining with the earth. The painting reflects her deep connection to the land and the concept of fertility, drawing inspiration from pre-Columbian symbolism. 4. My Dress Hangs There, 1933. This painting critiques American materialism by juxtaposing it with Mexican tradition. Kahlo's traditional dress, hanging like an empty shell, symbolizes her absence from Mexico and her yearning for her cultural identity amidst the industrialized backdrop of New York City. 5. Self-Portrait with Thorn Necklace and Hummingbird, 1940. In this iconic self-portrait, Kahlo wears a thorn necklace, symbolizing pain and sacrifice, while a dead hummingbird hangs from it, a symbol of luck and love in Mexican folklore. Surrounding her are native plants and animals, reinforcing her connection to her heritage and the natural world. 6. The Broken Column, 1944. While this painting primarily reflects Kahlo's physical pain, it incorporates elements of Mexican culture, such as her religious symbolism and imagery reminiscent of Mexican ex-votos. Her stoic expression amidst suffering mirrors the resilience celebrated in Mexican folklore. Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera. A shared vision of Mexican identity. Frida Kahlo's marriage to Diego Rivera, one of Mexico's most prominent muralists, was a source of inspiration and conflict. Rivera's work was deeply tied to Mexican identity, often depicting labor, revolution, and indigenous heritage scenes. Together, the couple championed the Mexicanidad movement, celebrating Mexico's pre-Columbian history and folk traditions. Although Rivera's large-scale murals and Kahlo's intimate, introspective paintings differed in style, both artists sought to preserve and honor their country's cultural legacy. Their shared commitment to Mexicanidad made their partnership a powerful force in the art world. A celebration of roots and resilience, Frida Kahlo's art is a testament to the enduring power of cultural identity. She celebrated her Mexican roots with unparalleled passion through her paintings, blending personal pain with national pride to create works that transcend time and place. Kahlo's ability to honor her heritage while addressing universal themes of love, loss, and identity ensures her lasting legacy as one of Mexico's most significant cultural icons. Anita Louise art is dedicated to art education, great artists, and inspiring others to find and create their art. We love art that uplifts and inspires. #Art to Make. You smile. Our art to make you happy. Visit u.anitalouiseart.com